Heartbound is a scam. But before I talk about the video game, I want to touch on two topics: my goal and the dev.
What I did find in Genshin that was kind of interesting to me, I found the...
Put me in there, I'll show them a real present.
My aims for this video is to take back what was stolen from me. I earned my YouTube warning, and now it is gone. Update, I got it back. How will I get it back? This video. The dev is a notorious flagger who has stricken smaller channels at least 8 separate times. How small are we talking? 16 subs. He struck a 16 sub channel, so I want my warning back. Now onto the man in question. There is a very cute website, Free My Nigga. Can't hear shit out here, man. Fuck nigga. We're so back. Moderated by a very handsome man, filled with very strapping, big-brained individuals who have conveniently made an entire thread documenting the various spurg-filled antics of our little Nepo baby. Some of my personal favourite moments: him faking his voice. Here is one of his videos.
It doesn't evoke good things. A lot of people think this is shovelware.
And here is a random interview.
Here at Denver Comic Con, and there's so many people, and they love the games, so it's been awesome.
Now you may wonder, this pudgy little fellow may still be going through puberty. My sweet, ignorant child, you are being mighty buffoonish. He's 29 in this. He claims his voice dropped at 33. Now I'm unaware of what the life of a 33-year-old entails, but I have worked in multiple fields dominated by midlife to elderly men, so I did some investigative journalism, asked around, and found that this story is complete bullshit. Now if you don't have the luxury of the old to commune with, you can use this ability we all have called basic common sense and figure out voice don't drop at 33. He is such a serial bullshit artist. He fakes his own voice.
I want the little niggy to burn to death.
He's also a furry. He's also probably a paedophile.
The numbers, basically. What do they mean?
But I already said that. He constantly flexes his 20 years work experience at Blizzard. You know, that rape company that he only had a job at because his dad was one of the first 10 employees. And in his 20 years of being on the job, never learned how to code. But the creme de la creme, his unpiratable game, Champions of Breakfast. Something unfortunately neglected by the cute site. This is an achievement he is very proud of, boisterously proclaiming he made the world's first unpiratable game.
It made it unpiratable.
Which is very funny to him.
Which is deeply hilarious to me.
What's even funnier to me is the fact that the game was cracked a year after release. You may think, a year? That's pretty good, right? Not really. Since the game costs next to nothing and sits at a whopping 112 reviews, it didn't take a year to crack because you are a genius. It took a year to crack because no one gave a fuck. But don't worry. This gloating video only came out in 2023, 6 years after the uncrackable game had been cracked.
Let's ask the average person what they think. Let's stop asking the average person what they... Do you know how fucking stupid the average person is?
That's my personal highlight reel of Tubor. There's a lot more on the cute site. One final comment I would like to make. I know you're watching this. Even if it has 12 views, you will search it out because you are so fragile. You are a Nepo baby. You have accomplished nothing in your near 40 years on this planet. Everything that has happened in your life is a direct result of who your father is, and your crowning achievement is making a game with a concurrent max player base 1/20th of the size of Concord. So, with the dev out of the way, it's time for Heartbound. Except not, because next is actually the Heartbound Kickstarter. As you can see, or not, if you're blind, the game raised $19,000 of a $5,000 goal. So the game must be incredible, nearly 4 times the projected cost? Well, we can't really say, as the full game isn't out yet, which is fine because the project only launched on February 24th, 2017. It's been 7 years. It was funded within 24 hours. Had an alpha release in November 2016, had a demo released on June 15th, 2017, and an early access version released on December 25th, 2018. And now nearly 6 years after early access, still isn't finished. For reference, Yandere Sim has been in development for 10 years with better coding, and Undertale, a game Heartbound is desperately trying to be, hi Jason, was made in 2.5 years by effectively one guy who looks like this. When you are being completely mogged by this, it's time to reevaluate some things. Maybe learn to tie a knot, but don't be dissuaded. This is an honest, hard-working individual who is not a Nepo baby. Look at the frequency of these updates. Did I mention it was meant to come out in 2017? Did I mention that he was a Nepo baby? Because he's a Nepo baby. So it's finally time for Heartbound, or whatever this shit's called. Right off the bat, name is awful, change it. For most of this script, I thought it was called Duskbound, because the name is so fucking generic. Plopped into the game, you may notice it's in Game Maker. If I prided myself as a game dev, and I spent 7 years making a game in Game Maker, I wouldn't neck, I would torture myself. I'd take an axe to my balls like your player base has. Quick interruption, I made a Discord at this point in the script. It took 5 minutes, and in those 5 minutes, I forgot the name of the game again. It also turns out I didn't think it was called Duskbound. I thought it was called Duskborn. Nepo baby, change, it bad. There's also this neat little feature before you get into the game. It's the language select. You see, it's quirky and unique, because instead of being normal and using the language name, they shortened them and used alternatives such as French. And why the fuck is there another PT1 grayed out? What is this? Great choices are continued, starting the game with the credits. Usually you would wait till the end for the credits, but with a product this shit, I can understand not thinking people would make it to the end. In this, the Jannies are credited, immediately followed by all the people scammed that the Jannies will soon silence. Poetry. Now the best way I could think of to express how bad the story and progression is in this game is to just say what happens. Wake up. Explode. Want to go back to bed. Talking dog wants food. Leave to get dog food. Dad says take out trash. Food dog. Take out trash. Go to bed, despite just waking up. Wake up. Room trashed. Slept through this apparently. Dad didn't give a fuck. Run into woods. Fight eldritch demon. Man saves. Man takes to... place? Go into clock. In short, it's paced like a retarded child crafting their first story. Mundane for 2 minutes and then space aliens and clock portals. The crux of the game is you are trying to find your dog. A very simple story that he somehow fucked up, because you are given 0 time with the main character, or the main plot point, before this shit. An example of a game that did this well, made by one person, is The Coffin of Andrew and Lele, Shut Up About Incest. The game gives you time with the characters before eldritch demons are invading. You get to learn who they are, how they act, it establishes the world that they are in, and then it gradually introduces the Upside Down realm. I don't know who the fuck this is. What does he like? He took out the garbage. Is that his character? Is he the trash man? I don't fucking know. So in a quest to save his dog, I don't remember the name of, you have to solve puzzles. But you know what? I can give credit where it is due. This is an example of good game design. The game, without a tutorial telling you, establishes how the puzzle works. You move the pillars and pull the switches that activate the light beams to reflect the beams onto the targets. Following, you move on to the second hidden tutorial of bouncing the beams off multiple objects. So when you enter the third room, established as the final room, you know the mechanics and are ready for a real noggin jogging puzzle. You know, I had faith that he wasn't a colossal hack for a second, and my faith was trampled. The next puzzle is much better though. You see, you can't see, and you have to walk the correct path. You wouldn't get it. You're just not smart enough for this big brain puzzle. That isn't just a lazy, boring time waste section 10 minutes into the game. You are padding for playtime 10 minutes in. After some great gameplay, you fight the same enemy again 10 minutes in for the second fight of the game. The exact same fight, back to back, in the first 10 minutes. This has to be a joke. But what isn't a joke, albeit maybe just a very shitty one, is this fight. It's 4 completely unrelated minigames smushed together, with the only chance of failure being you forgetting the controls. You have Dodge Man. Use the movement keys to dodge the glowy parts. Ping Pong. Movement controls, but you hit this back and forth 3 times. Not Undertale, which is not Undertale, and he's not copying Undertale. Click the rocks, and click the eye. You may say, you said there were 4 minigames, but you just listed 5. If you consider this a minigame, if you think there is any chance of failure in this one, I want to bludgeon your head with a mallet. For the non-bludgeoned among you, you may think to yourself, none of that sounds fun. After killing the eye, dog laser beamed by book. Become purple dogstone. Explored into free sparkle. Now free area are unlocked. And by that, I mean 2, because 1 isn't finished yet. Nice. In Nepo World, you are tasked with finding a passcode. I am having fun playing this video game I bought to have fun. But the fun continues, it just doesn't stop. What the fuck was the point? Walk through a half-assed stealth section, to walk through it again, to walk through it again collecting ducks. Proceed to walk through it again to be rewarded by walking through it again and then walk through it again. Also, a side note of great game design, the NPCs don't repeat the quest they gave you, so I had to open my OBS recording and watch it back to see what I was meant to do. Then when I reopened the game, I used my controller instead of the keyboard. Since the gameplay is so riveting, I forgot what you even play with, and using the controller completely soft-locked the game. I can't move from this position.
Door stuck! Door stuck!
A shame I nearly missed out on this. You see, you grab the item and give it to the customer. It's very challenging and rewarding. This goes on for 5 minutes. But don't fret, you then have this. Now I understand, the level is meant to be an office and the point is for it to be boring. However, there are 3 problems with that. There's a lot more, but I only care to dwell on 3. 1. Your actual game is comatose inducing. This isn't a step down, this is the same quality as your genuine attempt at a game. 2. Just because you know it's shit doesn't mean it isn't shit. Going, haha, look how bad I made my game, doesn't change the fact you made your game shit, it just makes you a retard. 3. If I wanted to do mundane work, I would go to sleep for about 13 hours, get on a train, and go to work. Past this, there is a whore, I genuinely don't care, and you take a sideways elevator, because you never climb the corporate ladder. It's a metaphor that is immediately spelled out for you. If you have to explain your high IQ metaphor, it's probably pretty African. Also, Jason, buddy, you can climb the corporate ladder, it's what your dad did to get you employed. You can't just walk in a fresh hire and demand your little Nepo baby a job. You never climbed the ladder because you are talentless. The next area is this. Why am I showing the interaction guide? Because I interacted with everything here and nothing happened. I'm not sure if I missed a specific order to interact or if the game soft-locked again, but I'm fucking sick. I cannot endure the greatest torture ever devised anymore. Out of everything I have ever played, I can wholeheartedly say this is the worst game I've ever played. It's not even a competition. Yandere Sim is superior in every single metric you could weigh it in. Yik is superior in every single metric. I had more fun in ethnic cleansing running at 3 FPS than this piece of shit. If you want an actual game with thought and passion put into it, made by an indie dev With a dev that doesn't scam their audience and deplatform smaller creators, just buy the coffin of Andrew and Lele. Again, hi Jason, you probably didn't make it this far, you may have had a stroke, so here is an image of a ferret to please you. This one was owned by someone who actually gave a shit about it, so it isn't dead as a result of neglect. Did I mention he was trying to open a ferret shelter? I'm sure entrusting a plethora of wild animals to a man who looks like he can't even bathe himself, who has already resulted in 3 of them dying, will surely go well. I'm very glad we encourage people when their actions are absolutely going to result in the deaths of dozens of animals. Because you'd be very mean if you told them they're a fucking idiot. So Mr. Jared, or Mr. Figtree, I would like you to know I got my refund and none of my merchant shekels went to a certain scamming potential paedophile. Here's another video I flagged while I was making this video, haha hee hee.